Hello people, Easy Rider here and welcome to my next video. Today I want to give you a first impression, my review on the 2019 Honda Africa Twin DCT dual clutch transmission. Stay with me. And welcome back. First I want to say that I bought this bike in October, the end of October, about the last week of 2020. It's now April 21st, 2021, so I've had it a couple months. I've got to put the first 600-mile break-in in it before all the winter hit me really hard. Then it was in the garage a while, and finally I've been able to take it out again. I got roughly 1,800 miles on it, so I've got a pretty good impression of, what the bike can do and how it feels. First I want to talk about why I bought it. If you go back in my videos, I had a BMW R9T Scrambler, which was a fabulous bike, but I was looking for something a little bit more dirt-worthy, something I could take on the Trans-American Trail, something that had better ergonomics, something that I could put better luggage on, and there's a host of other reasons, and the Honda Africa Twin just met all those criteria. I looked into maybe getting the BMW GSA, but the price was just, way not out of my range, but I really didn't feel like paying that much money. They were like, $24,000 to $26,000. This bike here, I got it as a leftover, and it was under $10,000. Plus what they gave me for the trade, I just pretty much pulled a couple grand out of my pocket and got the bike. So it was pretty much a win-win, no-brainer kind of thing. So, and then I wanted Honda reliability. Everybody talks about how reliable they are, and they are reliable. BMWs are reliable too, but they're a little bit of money to keep up, so I was kind of looking at that too. But all in all, really satisfied with my purchase. So what I'm going to do now is turn the camera around. We'll just take a quick walk around the bike. I'll show you what I did to it, and then we'll go into, some of the details on, why I like it and what I don't like about it. Again, it's April 21 in Ohio, northern Ohio. If you look outside of my garage, you see there's snow on the ground. We got about 4 or 5 inches last night. Most of it's melted off now. And it's in the 30s right now, so it's a little chilly. This weekend I got a camping trip coming up. It'll be a little warmer, thank God. Anyway, here's my bike, the 2019 Honda Africa Twin DCT. When I bought it, I had them add on the center stand, which you really need if you got, any chain drive bike, you want to have a center stand. I had them add the center stand on, and I had them put in heated grips. Up in Ohio, you need heated grips. What I wish I would have known at that point was to have them add on the power point down there. It's a power point where you can plug in your accessories. It's a $23 upgrade, but I had to put it in myself, and I had to tear apart literally the whole front end of the bike. All the fairings on both sides, all the front end of the bike had to come off to get that $23 part in there. But it was worth it. Other stuff I put on it are the heat crash bars. I will do a video on those. Love them. Very well made heat crash bars. Also the heat light protector. You really want one of those because if you break that light, there's a lot of money. I put on these fork socks because Honda has a habit of eating fork seals, especially if you take it off-road, and those will keep your seals nice and clean. So I put those on there. I got a set of Nelson Rig waterproof bags and Tusk pannier holders right here, bars or whatever you call them. And those were fun to put on too. I got the panniers. I put on this top box on it. This is just a cheapie from Amazon. Cost me like $45. Real simple to put on. Really love it. Because I always have, a bunch of little things, gloves and knickknacks and stuff, and cameras I put in there. So that was well worth it. Really lightweight, doesn't put a lot of weight on the bike. And then I also have my GPS holder Bought that so I can put a GPS on my phone there. It's waterproof, so I can, ride it when it's raining out. Other than that, that's a walk around the bike. Here's the rest of the heat crash bars with the heat bags. Bike is filthy. Sorry, we went out kind of dirt riding last weekend, and I just ain't had a time to get it clean. So, okay, let me look at my list, and we'll go over some of the stuff. My impressions. I'm going to go over the big things, so you ADD types, you get that out of the way first, and then you can go on to wherever else you normally go after a couple minutes. The elephant in the room is the DCT tranny. What's my impression of it? What do I think? I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm just going to say it's probably not for everybody. If you want to, go down the road going vroom vroom and going through the gears, I've been riding for almost 50 years. So, shifting, I've done it, been there, done that. The transmission on the road mode does shift very quickly. You're in 6th gear by 35 miles an hour. But the engine doesn't bog down. Now, if I did that, put it in 6th gear on my BMW at 35 mile an hour, I'd probably drop the transmission on it. But this bike here just seems all happy to do it. So what I tell people with it is, when you're driving your car, do you really give a shit what, gear it's in? It just does its thing, This one here, tends to go up through the gears pretty quick. But the only time it really, I notice it is, say I'm coming up to, on a curvy road and I hit, a hill and it's still in 6th gear. All you got to do is just tap down right here, bing, bing, down a gear or two, and, up the hill you go. And so it's really simple. Off-road works perfect. When I get in the really gnarly stuff where, I don't want it shifting gears on me, like going up a dirt hill, you just put it in manual, put it in first, and it just stays in first. Unless you want to, then you can toggle it. You got your downshift here and your upshift behind the doohickey there. And so I love it. Is it for everybody? Probably not. But, some people, it just unnerves them that it shifts so quick. You do have a sport mode you could put it in, and it'll shift a little less quick. But I don't really care. I think it just does a pretty good job, and let it do its thing, This is the older model, so it doesn't have the TFT. It just has the regular, whatever that is, kind of display, which tells you everything you need to know. Nothing special. Tires. Oh, yeah, tires. Now, everybody talks about these tires. These are the ones that come with the bike, whatever they are, Battle Axe, Bridgestone, Trail Max, or some bull crap. Believe it or not, I went up some pretty gnarly dirt hills with them. And the people I was with, we were on an ADV ride a couple of weekends ago, the April Fool's ride in Ohio, put on by Appalachian ADV. And they were amazed what I was doing with this thing. The hills that I went up, and I'll speak more of that in a minute. As long as you're on dry ground, tires ain't really all that bad. You get in the mud, that's the end of it, man. That thing ain't going nowhere in the mud, and I found that one out the hard way. But yeah, the tires, would I ever put them back on again? Absolutely not. Unfortunately, they're going to be on till I wear them out, or my wife will probably give me a boot out the door if I just buy tires for no reason. They do have a ton of tread on them, so it tells me I'll be there a while. But if you live in a dry climate and you're not really worried about mud, I'm pretty sure you can get through any dry terrain with those tires, with the exception of probably loose dirt. But anything, hard pack, gravel, had absolutely no issues. On the road, they're okay. Nothing to write home about, but they're all right. Well, we won't get there yet. The suspension on the bike, this one comes with the manual suspension. You have a preload thing here for the back shock. You can also do the dampening on it. Same with the front. You could do, you can adjust it to your heart's content. I set it up once and works good for me. I'm not the type of guy that fiddle faddles or even gives a shit about the suspension so much. As long as it does what I want it to do, I'm happy. But you have, infinite fiddling you can do with it. The newer models of 2020 comes with the ESA, the electronic suspension, which I have on the BMW, which is wonderful. One of the reasons I didn't buy the 2020, other than this bike was a steal, was I had enough of electronics that can break and go bad. You blow a ESA shock, you're out almost $3,000. These right here, probably $700. You can, throw a new shock in. And if you ride off-road, you will put new shocks on these, probably about at the 30,000 mile mark. That's about how long shocks normally last anyway. The ergonomics on this is perfect. Love it. That was one of the problems I had with the BMW Scrambler, is the ergonomics sucked, especially for standing up on it. But standing up on this bike, I mean, you get into the gnarly stuff with it, or you're sitting down like on a bumpy dirt road and you're having trouble, steering, just stand up on it, boom, it's perfect. Went through some really, really crazy stuff with it, standing up, and it was perfect. The seat, everybody complains about seats. I'm not so bad with seats. I've driven my truck. I'm a truck driver, driven over 2 million miles. I don't think I have any feeling in my ass anymore, so I have no problem with the seat. It is adjustable up and down. I got it on the lower, and I'm 5'10", 5'11" or so, and I pretty much flat foot, depending on the ground. I pretty much flat foot when I'm sitting on the ground on the bike. Let's see, road manners. Got a 21-inch wheel up there. I mean, it's not gonna be like my BMW RT over there, which zips around the corners. I mean, it's kind of a bike that you just kind of plunk along down the road. I mean, yeah, you can get aggressive with it, but it's not a bike that you really want to be aggressive with. It's just a comfortable bike. I go, through the back roads of Ohio and just kind of plunk along, 55, 60, and it's just happy as can be. Again, it's a adventure bike. It's not made to be a road racer, and that's the thing about adventure bikes. You got to realize an adventure bike is a bagger, just like that you take off-road. It's pretty simple. It's a bagger that you take off-road. It's not a trials bike. It's not an enduro bike. It's not a dirt bike. It's not a motocross bike, though, you can do all of them things with it to some extent. But it's a bagger that you take off-road. And if you keep that in mind, that's what it is. Dirt manners. I'm going to end it with the dirt manners. Like I said, I went on that ADV ride. This thing just is phenomenal off-road. I don't know how to explain it. It's just totally phenomenal off-road. I took it through places I wouldn't even want to walk through. The only trouble I had is in mud, and that was the only place I dumped it. Twisted my knee and the ankle in the process, but I dumped it in a mud rut. But I went up this, oh yeah, I should say this too. I went up this one hill. It was about a half-mile long, pretty steep, and it followed power lines up the hill about, like I said, about a half mile. And I was heavily traveled with side-by-side, so it was rutted out pretty bad. And I was riding up on the berm on the right side of it, and I was expecting to slide down into the ruts at any point, but them tires grabbed. Like I said, when it's dry, those tires got really good bite. And about halfway up the hill, I was in first gear, had it in manual. Halfway up the hill, it kind of bogged down a little bit, and I lost my momentum, and I stopped. And I was about halfway up the hill, about a quarter mile up this damn steep thing with all ruts. And then I was like, geez, now what do I do? I mean, I can, if I can't get moving forward, I'm going to have to back this sucker all the way down the hill, which is all rutted and rocks, which would be easier said than done. And I was damned if I was going to get that thing turned around up there without killing myself. So I sat there wondering what I was going to do for a second. And of course, it's a DCT, so it didn't stall. I wasn't sitting there holding the clutch in like you would a regular bike. It was just kind of, idling away. And then I just kind of rolled down the throttle, and to my amazement, sucker just went right up the hill from a dead stop halfway up. So I was pretty amazed when it did that. And I mean, that sold me, forever on this bike and on DCT transmissions. The next day I went up this other hill. You had maybe about 20 feet, and you had to take a sharp 90-degree right up the hill. And about 20 foot up, and I didn't realize it was all mud. My back tire got all filled with mud, and I basically had a racing slick, so I couldn't move up anymore. Bike, of course, didn't stall. I was just kind of sitting there, had my front brake on. I backed up a little bit to try to see if I can get some traction, backed up some more, couldn't get no traction. Finally, a guy came and pushed me a little bit, and I got some traction, and I made it up the rest of the hill. But the bike is phenomenal. You could do pretty much anything off-road with it that anybody else can do. And I know a lot of people cry, oh, it's so heavy, oh my God, it's so heavy. Again, it's an adventure bike. it is what it is, you know, but, you know, I had no problem, you know, I didn't have to muscle it around. As once you get this thing moving, it's just very well balanced and real easy off-road. It's probably one of the best off-road bikes, you know, I've ever ridden. And anyway, yeah, when you are off-road, there is a gravel mode that you put it in. And if you're on gravel roads, it shifts pretty much where you'd want it to shift. And if not, just shift it yourself. You know, you got those little paddles up there. All right, hope I hit everything. I probably forgot a million things I wanted to tell you. You got any questions, put them down below. I'll try to answer them. And yeah, really love it. Plan on putting a whole lot of miles on this bike. I will do some videos on how to put the heat bars on and how to put them saddlebags on. The heat bars, that was a good 5-hour job. It wasn't hard. It was just time consuming. Anyway, easy rider out, man. You all have a good day.